Many times I ask the question, where are the men of England? I found the men of England on Saturday as they stood holding the flag of England as a parade, in my mind, a parade that did a lot to glorify the atrocities of Hamas, filed past in their tens of thousands. And 8 brave Englishmen stood there with the England flag, peacefully, not even protesting, just showing that this is England. And that's what we've got to remember. This is England. Our country is not the Gaza Strip. Our country is not the West Bank. Our country is not Syria or Iraq or Afghanistan or Pakistan. Our country is England. And this is my point. When I see people parading through England, through the capital city of England, putting their flags up in Downing Street, desecrating the War Memorial, desecrating the Cenotaph, desecrating Trafalgar Square with their foreign flags and their foreign ideology. My message to you, if you don't respect our country, if you don't respect our values, if you don't respect our flag, and I saw on Saturday the disrespect for the England flag showed by the far left and by the Hamas supporters, by the extremists. Not every single person. When we were standing there holding the England flag, there was a Muslim came up next to us. He said, I'm an England fan. He stood and held the flag. It's a very nice gentleman, obviously caught up on that march. And there'll be many people go on those marches that don't really understand what they're standing for. I'm sure not everybody that goes on those marches is a genocidal maniac that wants to destroy Israel and the Jewish people. But many of them are. When I quizzed a man about the black flag of jihad that he was carrying through central London, when I quizzed him about his flag, he denied it was a flag of jihad. It was. He was lying. And then when I asked him about what happened with Hamas and Israel, he said it was self-defense. Self-defense to kill babies, to machine gun babies, to kidnap babies, to rape women in front of their children, to shoot parents and children and grandparents while the rest of the family watch, then to set the house on fire and burn people to death. That, according to this man, was self-defense. That man, in my opinion, is a terrorist because he's glorifying terrorism. He's glorifying everything that is evil. And then when I saw what happened in the Cenotaph, when the stage, the very platform that these propagandists for Islamists were going to speak on was in front of the Cenotaph, and they covered over the part of the Cenotaph where the poppies go. How vile, how disgusting, how disrespectful. And I would say to any patriots that are in London this weekend, if those extremists are going to go down to the Cenotaph again, if they're going to go down to Parliament Square again, stand at those monuments, stand at those memorials. Veterans, football lads, whoever it is, go and stand peacefully and protect those memorials, because the police will not. No doubt Sadiq Khan will put them all in a box, like he did before when he put Churchill in a box. Churchill should never be put in a box. The Cenotaph should never be covered over, because enemies of this country want to parade and masquerade as freedom fighters, as freedom lovers, when all they are is fascists that want to destroy and maim and kill and murder innocent people. And then, as well as that, as well as this army of evil that we have in our midst, and it is an army of evil, as well as that army of evil, we now see that the Jewish community is threatened. And on Saturday, I saw the darkness of Islamic supremacism, the darkness of the far left, of the Antifa fascists, because they are fascists, the Nazis of Antifa. I saw the darkness of them. I saw the darkness of the jihadists and the Islamists on Saturday. And it was dark, and it was evil, and it was sinister. And the men of England need to stand up against that. And I know they are standing up. And those 8 men that stood with those England flags, the whole country owes those men a debt. But what really worries me, I spent Sunday with Israeli friends. I spent Sunday afternoon at the vigil for those that were massacred in the worst attack on the Jewish community, on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And they were scared, and they were broken, and they were sad, and they were hurting. But you know something about those people? They were together, and they were strong, and they were resilient, and they were taking a stand. But very few in number. Not too many non-Jews there. And do you know what I feel like doing right now? If I could put my big arms around the whole Jewish community in England, I would do it. I would do it. If I could protect them, I would do it, but I can't because I'm one man. And our state better do everything in its power to protect the Jewish community. Because these murderous scum, and we know from what the counter-terrorist police have told us, we know from what the security services have told us, on the public record, there are 30,000 at least jihadists in this country. It took 2,000 jihadists to do what they did in Israel. How can our security service and our police, as small as they are, watch 30,000 people who want to destroy our nation, destroy our way of life, and have the black flag of jihad flying over Parliament and Buckingham Palace? That's what they want. Talk to them, they will tell you what they want. They want Sharia to rule the globe. That's what the Islamists want. They are not messing about, and they are not playing games. And our country needs to start deporting these people. Enemies of this country need to be deported, and the leftists need to go with them. Incidentally, a message for the left about what happens when you back the wrong horse. In Iran, in the Iranian Revolution in the 1970s, I think it was 1979 as far as I remember, I had friends, sadly both of them are dead, 2 Iranian friends, and they'd been through that torturous time. And that's probably why they died young, because they've been through great suffering. One of them was a Christian, the other one was a Christian convert from Shia Islam. Both of those men told me that when the revolution happened, the leftists, the communists, backed the revolution. They backed the Islamic revolution. As soon as the Islamists had won, as soon as they'd won the battle, they took every single left-wing agitator, put them up against the wall and shot them all in the head. That's what happens when the left sides with Islamic fanatics. You end up in the same graveyard as everybody else, you fools. But what I really fear, and this is where the people of the United Kingdom, the people of England, need to be awake and need to realise what could happen. Our government is quite rightly backing Israel in this conflict to destroy Hamas, that evil, wicked terrorist organisation, the ISIS of Israel. And our government has said they will back Israel, they will give support, they will give intelligence support, they'll have surveillance planes in the air to keep an eye on things, to see what Iran's up to see what Hezbollah's up to. And that's a good thing. But what that is going to do, it is going to give an excuse for these vile, disgusting Islamic agitators who want to destroy our country to launch a jihad against the United Kingdom. And mark my words, they will do it. They will use this as an excuse to terrorise, bully and intimidate the British people. Well, the British people had better stand up. The British people better get a backbone. The politicians better start speaking out about this evil that is in our midst. The politicians better back the right horse on this. Because I believe that what is happening in the Middle East will spill over onto the streets of the United Kingdom. I believe Islamists will try and attack and kill Jews. I believe Islamists will try and kill and attack innocent English and British people as well. They did it when Islamic State was on the go. They did it on 7/7 after the invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan. And they will do it again. And they will agitate. They will have tens of thousands of people on the street. They will have their cheerleaders on the far left, like Corbyn and his friends. And they will come against the rest of the country with all the power that they can muster. And we need to be ready. We need to be aware, and we need to be vigilant to protect ourselves, protect our families, and protect our communities. I believe what happened in Israel, if they have the capability, Islamists will do it and worse in this country. And what you've got to remember about Israel is a highly armed and a highly trained nation. Many of the people in those kibbutzes had firearms and were able to fight back. What would we fight back with? We've nothing. We're not armed. Most of the British population has no military training. Most of the British population has never even had a playground fight. Our nation needs to get some backbone, and our nation needs to stand up. We are facing the most serious threat that our nation has ever faced. And we cannot fail the test. The very future of our country is at stake. And I say this to the government: close the borders, stop the migration, start deporting migrant criminals, start deporting jihadists and extremists, start deporting rapists and grooming gangs. Get the scum out of our country, destroy this fifth column and save our country from what's coming. Because to the government, if you don't do that, you'll be replaced by a government that will do that. That's the reality of the situation. But do it now, before our country is tipped into a catastrophic terrorist-inspired war. After seeing what I saw on Saturday, I genuinely fear for the future of our country. And to all the patriots in this land, now is the time to take a stand. Now is the time to stand up. Like Martin Luther, so that we can all stand and say, "Here I stand, I can do no other, so help me God." See you all soon.